in a society where we are being pushed to look out for ourselves first. You already know the mantra that's going to dominate is the I don't give a fuck, right? I don't want to have to pronounce that for this. But in a society that is pushing unhealthy competition, a lot of people are shifting into this mindset that is eating them from inside. We can see it. But today, I want you to get really excited. I want you to really tap into this inner state that you are going to hold throughout this video and carry it with you even after the video, because you are going to get to see that you have that power in you to not be affected by the way the world is trying to dictate your emotions. And not only are you going to carry on this empowering energy with you, you are going to be conscious now of the fact that you are actually leaving a trail. Yes, you are not just moving about working so hard just to take care of yourself. You are now actually leaving behind an example. You lead as you follow is actually the theme of today's discussion. So welcome to The Chosen's Path. I am your host, the Common Denominator. We're gonna go ahead and get right on into it. Let's talk about the unconscious leader. The unconscious leader believes they are their own person and shouldn't have to care about others. And if you look around, you will see that there are a whole lot of fathers that have adopted this mentality, mothers as well. We have our own friends, and even sometimes we are guilty of this reality. And it is okay because now we are pointing it out. So that means we're identifying the issue. Remember, here on the Chosen's Path, like I said, we're all chosen to be on this planet at this given moment. We are going to be very honest with ourselves because we are now saying we want better. We are echoing within ourselves that we want better for self. And we know that if others are echoing this reality within themselves, collectively we're going to bring this about, and it's going to become a harmonious collective balance that's going to get us to truly usher in this golden age. My dear brothers and sisters, I am optimistic, but let's keep it rolling. I want you to tap into some of this optimism and carry it with you after this video. Let us talk about the unconscious leader. Let's keep going. They believe it's not their fault if others copy their faults and mistakes, right? The unconscious leader does not see that as they are going about their business, as they are moving about in the world, there are those that are paying attention to them. And even if there are those that are not paying attention to them within that time frame, even after when they're done, there's going to be somebody that is going to have the memory of how they impacted them, right? We are getting to see that there are a lot of unconscious leaders in the world. Remember, we're going off of the theme of this package today, which is you lead as you follow. So that means that if the ones that we follow are not conscious of the fact that we are following, then they leave behind trails that we end up embodying that turns out to not be beneficial for us, and we end up repeating cycles and mistakes. That's why we're pointing out some of these key points, right? The unconscious leader, they believe that they are allowed to live their lives how they please without consequences. You know, sometimes we're guilty of that. Like I said, if we are living in a society that pushes us to think more about ourselves, we get so self-absorbed that we ignore the fact that we ought to be responsible and take accountability for our actions and learn. as we are progressing. The unconscious leader fails to think before they speak or act. They just throw out words into the world. They do not care whether it is hurting somebody's emotions. To them, words are just words. They do not see that words are powerful. They don't even think, right? They don't see that before you even get to project words, words are the byproduct of thoughts. So if your thoughts are not really in alignment, the great Gautama Buddha teaches us that we have to be able to really regulate thought. And I'm not saying that it is easy. Remember, I am saying as we are now working together, we are ushering in the golden age. If we are to usher in the golden age, we have to be very, very conscious of some of these things that we just overlook. So please, my dear brothers and sisters, my beloved audience out there, it is not about saying that I am perfect, but I want you to realize that now we are saying that there is this model that we can follow, that we can truly be honest with ourselves and tap into this model. And now we're doing it from a micro level that's going to eventually reverberate into the macro system. Let us keep on because I don't want to eat too much into your time. The unconscious leader avoids accountability and responsibility for their actions. I know you out there, you are a conscious leader because you follow other leaders that are conscious of themselves. If you listen to some of my past work, I set the foundation of establishing the core of my discourse on Yeshua because Yeshua was a conscious leader. And even when he took himself out after the resurrection, as it is described in the Bible, that consciousness now fell on us, those who believe. So I always like for us to remember that the leaders that we should follow should be those that were conscious not just of themselves, but of the ones that are coming even after them. I'm sure that there are so many different examples that you might want to add on to this video of the unconscious leader. But feel free to drop those in the comment section. That way others can also chime in as well. We are now going to shift into why some people fear leadership because we have to talk about it. We cannot talk about leadership and stepping into the leadership role if we do not discuss why some people are actually afraid of leadership. We know that when you are in the position of leadership, there is the light that is on you. All of your activities now are in the light, and some people are afraid of that. They do not want the things that they do in the dark to come out to the light. But you have to see that now we are creating a community that is going to allow for us to truly realize our weaknesses and work on it to better ourselves and to also prevent certain mistakes from happening. We are no longer going to shy away from the light. We embrace the light. That way we can now get to solutions and prevent others from going through some of the sufferings that we've had to deal with. We also get to see that there is a responsibility that comes with leadership that most would rather avoid. That is why some people are afraid of leadership, because of the responsibility. As you can see, a lot of people don't even want to take responsibility of their own lives, let alone now taking responsibility of the lives of people that they don't even know. People run away from responsibility. But you see, on the chosen's path, you are being equipped with the knowledge and the wisdom to take on responsibility for your own self, for your own actions. It's not like somebody's trying to punish you. It's not like somebody's trying to penalize you, but it is so you should now hold on to the strength and work on your weaknesses, unify it, neutralize it, and step out and be the best version of yourself, for yourself and for your loved ones and for your community. Yes, yes, yes. Say yes to it. We are going to get to it. Nothing is going to hold us back. We are the only ones that are going to hold ourselves back at this given point. You see, some people fear leadership because they do not want to be blamed if things don't go right. And that is very, very true. Yes, I, for one, if I am leading and the pack that I am leading, they are not willing to listen to instructions after you done gave them instructions, and even after they've gone through experiences. You don't want to take the blame for that. I don't want to take the blame for people that don't want to heed to instructions. And I'm sure a lot of leaders out there in the world, don't want to step out into the light because they do not want to be blamed if things do not go right. I totally understand. But like I said, this is not the age for us to move about in fear anymore. If we are truly saying that we want to echo out into the universe, and even if it is not for us, even if we cannot actualize it and see the fullness of it, we know that we are now preparing that foundation consciously. We cannot shy away from some of these key core points, right, my dear brothers and sisters? We also know that some people fear leadership because they don't trust themselves in that position. Some people do not trust themselves in the position of leadership. But I know you out there, you've been doing the work. You are now ready to step out because you've been working within yourself. You've been taming the inner wild tiger, right? You've been taming it, you've been working on yourself, and now you are ready to step out there. You trust yourself. You trust yourself because you've been by yourself long enough to trust yourself by yourself. And if you were with others, you would trust yourself amongst others. And this would echo even onto them so they can now trust themselves around you, right? Let us keep going. I don't want us to take too much time. I'm bringing out some of these points so we can become conscious of it. We know that some people fear leadership because they won't have the time to themselves as they would love to have. A lot of people love to have time to themselves, and that is perfectly fine, right? We also know that a lot of people would say not everybody can be a leader, but you have to remember, we are connecting this to the theme of what we initially projected. You lead as you follow. Everybody is a leader, and to a degree, everyone is a follower. So I know that some people just want to enjoy their time alone, which is perfectly fine. But now we are echoing this collective mindset that is going to get even those people who are shying away from stepping into the light to realize that there is a path, there is a mode that you can definitely connect yourself to, and it'll get you to shed off all that which would get you to feel like you cannot belong to the collective. And even if you are choosing to go the path of the individualism path, you will still see that just because you're choosing that path, it doesn't mean that you are not a part of the collective body. Right, my dear brothers and sisters, please drop your comments below. I would like to know what y'all think about this particular subject matter that we are touching on. Me personally, I'm realizing that it is no one's job but ours. We now have to go within ourselves and echo out that which we truly know within us, the core of us, that which we really know is good, not just for us, but for the ones coming after us. We may not be perfect, right? But we are saying that we can not let that become a hindering factor as to why we cannot push ourselves towards the betterment objective. Now, let us talk about the steps that leave a trail. You see, you align yourself with the frequency pattern of individuals that walk with the core values you appreciate and would like to resonate in your own life. Yes, when we look up to others, when we have role models, when we turn to coaches, when we turn to therapists, we believe that these individuals have a certain knowledge base. They have something that they can project and impart onto us that would get us to align ourselves so we can overcome something that we are not comfortable with or something that we would like to better ourselves in, right? So you are seeing that once you embody that and you overcome, you are also going to leave a trail for somebody else to follow. And that leads us to our next point. Your courage to live by higher virtues eventually inspires others when they get to see all the positive advantages that come about from your dedication. Bear with me, my dear brothers and sisters. I have my notes. I'm trying to make sure that I impart onto y'all all that I had scribed. And I know y'all probably have a lot more ideas that you can contribute. So please do feel free to drop them below. Yes, you are not afraid of others learning from your mistakes. You see, it is not to say that you are going to consciously make mistakes because you want others to then learn from them. Nah, you are saying as you are working on yourself and as you are trusting that God being your helper, you are going to do your very best to be the very best version of yourself for yourself and for your community. You might slip up, you might make mistakes, yes, but you are now accepting that even if you do make these mistakes, you will learn from them with the hopes that others will also learn from those mistakes as well and not glorify your mistakes and look to repeat them. You were never perfect, but you knew how to right your wrongs and move on. We just spoke about this, right? It is not so much about you being a perfect being. This is not what we are pushing for. But we do know, if you believe in perfection, we do know that Yeshua, quote unquote, was the perfect being. A lot of us, if you are Christian or if you believe in the manifestation of Yeshua, you would see him as the perfect being. And he is a good example to look up to. He's a good role model to have. So you are getting to see that even though you are not perfect, there is that which is perfect that you can plug your mind to, and it would form within you that which would enable you to be a good leader, not just for yourself, but for your loved ones and for your community as well. You appreciate those that came before you, and you see the responsibility of paying respect to them by leaving behind something worthwhile for those coming after you without diminishing their efforts. Isn't that so true? We say we honor our ancestors. We say we are grateful for those who came before us and they paved the path. Wouldn't the best way for us to pay respect to them be by us embodying that same compassionate heart that they had and take it upon ourselves to make things even more better, more easier for the ones coming after us to not have to necessarily go through the same struggles, the same hardships, the same setbacks. We now say we are going to step within ourselves. We are going to show our gratitude for our ancestors by projecting that which is going to leave even a better example for the ones that are coming after us. My dear brothers and sisters, I would like to know what y'all think about the discourse of today's subject matter, you lead as you follow. Just to recap on what we talked about today, we spoke about the unconscious leader. We got to talk about why some people fear leadership. And we got to also talk about the steps that leave a trail. If any of this resonated with you in any way whatsoever, please do go ahead and drop your comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I am the Common Denominator, your very own host at The Chosen Path. Until next time, y'all stay blessed.